Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama, September 8th, 2021. Tonight, Whackin' Atheist Wednesday, one of my favorite days of the week. We do it sweetly in Christian love. Let's see. Michael Shermer, Seth Andrews, believe stupid things. They did a program on that. We're going to explain all that here. Oh, I forgot to get it queued up on the other. Hang on one second. Let me go to what happened to it. No, I don't. Technical. I can't get internet here. Get me on. I got to play part of his thing here. Okay. Because I had it all queued up in the house there. Anyway, he talks about he's the president of the Skeptic Association, and I want one of his cards. I'm a skeptic. I'm a skeptic of a lot of stuff that they believe. I'm a skeptic. Let's see. Skeptic card. I want one. Let's see. Let me get on the internet and call no internet and call up the thing I just got. Man, it's been a long day today. I had to get up before breakfast. That was awful. But it's been amazing around here. Okay, we're on, and now let me just 1 second here, folks. Okay. I think so. He says I am. Let's see. That wire, we got to fix that thing. Let's see. Internet. Oh, right. No, let's see. Right there. 1 second here. Ken Hovind official. No, I don't want to go there. I want to go to Skeptic, where I just was. Is there a way I can go back to what I was just playing? Because I had it up. I must have accidentally hit close. History. Oh, okay. Why smart people believe stupid things.
In one.
No, that's one moment here, folks. They do believe stupid things, but it's with Seth Andrews' program. On Seth Andrews' program. Is this it?
Dr. Michael Shermer.
We got it. Okay. Now drag it over here. Put it at the top.
Or just hit F.
And hit F. Look at that. Full screen. Okay. Almost ready there. Seth and Michael, I'm sorry for the delay. It took 2 minutes. Apologize. Let's see. I want to go back to here. Alt-DV. And I think I got it. Yeah. There we go. Whackin' Atheist Wednesday. We believe dinosaurs always lived with man. They did not live millions of years ago. And evolution is the most ridiculous, stupid, idiotic religious cult in the history of the world. You got brain damage if you believe that. Evolution stuff, okay? Come to Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama, 1 mile north of downtown Lenox. Come visit our science center, our amazing tour. Oh, might as well play it again. I like it. This is cool. Paul Lynn, you haven't seen this. Our science center. 12,000 square feet of cool science experiments to teach creation. Thank you, Elias. Did a wonderful job with the drone and all the 10 lakes for fishing. Atheists call it the abandoned sandbox. They're just jealous. They don't have any science to back up their religion. Okay, let's see. Thank you so much. Okay, we need somebody good at concrete to come pour some more concrete in front of our church building here, if you're good at that. We need a wife for Turbo, our African spurred tortoise. He's what, 15? Debbie, you said they're $2,000? Huh?
We need a female that's 6 years or older.
A female 6 or older. Okay. He robs the cradle. Let's see. They are cute and seem harmless. They are loud, incredibly expensive to keep, and absolutely untrainable. The other's a kangaroo. I don't really know much about kangaroos. We got a rather large collection of hardworking, God-fearing guys here, single, that need a wife. Any women who love the Lord, want to follow his clear teachings and be a help, come on down. We've given thousands of tours of the place. People from all over the place come visit. So Paul, Lynn, and Evander from Georgia visiting. How long are you here for?
We're just here for the night.
Just for overnight. Give you the tour tomorrow?
Yep.
And you're in the Army?
Yes, sir.
Amen. Hey, thank you for defending our country, and I apologize for our stupid politicians.
Yeah.
Now, Trevor worked here for 9 months for free, helping volunteer here. He's headed out in the morning to go back to Oregon. I got him a place to stay in Hot Springs, Arkansas, 5 550 miles, going to spend the night there. They're going to help him out with some money to get going. Good longtime friend of mine, Harbor Cycles, Dennis Harbor, great friend of mine, fixes motorcycles and four-wheelers. So he's going to stay at Harbor Cycles. But I need somebody probably about Colorado or Wyoming area, another 400 or 500 miles. He's driving a little bitty Chevy truck, pulling a trailer, 4-cylinder. He's a little concerned. He wants to go slow. And so if you want to help, call me if you live anywhere on the route between Mountain Home, Arkansas, and Oregon. We'll be glad to give you his number and you can contact him. Okay, Pearly Gates. It says here you're an atheist. He says, was. I have to think about it for a minute. It says here you are an atheist. He says, I was an atheist. Now he knows there's a God. I don't believe it. No atheists allowed in heaven? Oh. You were a believer, yes, but you skipped the not being a jerk about it part. I love it. Big Bang, Bible Believers Baptist Big Bang Blowout coming up November 24th. We want all the atheists and skeptics and scoffers to come down, visit Dinosaur Adventureland. We're going to have a discussion, debate, whatever you want to call it, right here. Me against all of you. I get half the time. Any one of you can speak for your group. And it's going to be the day before Thanksgiving because that's the anniversary of Charlie's book coming out that destroyed the world. Okay. And the day before Thanksgiving. And it's a Whack an Atheist Wednesday anyway. So come on down. Have a debate right here November 24th and feed you free Thanksgiving dinner the next day and give you a tour of the place. If evolution is so obvious, we'll prove it. Okay. We'll talk about some of that tonight. Michael, you're going to get it, son. Okay. Let's see. Come on. It's a big day for the Big Bang. Great day for Big Bang. Let's see. What did I say? Stay in one of our cabins, go fishing in one of our 10 lakes, ride our four-wheelers, tour the farm, the science center, and join us for Thanksgiving. Hopefully have the church done by then. Kevin, you guys have been working like crazy. You get pulled off once in a while, but we need more 1-inch thick, rough-cut oak. If you've got any oak that's been dried enough, we can use for the floor. We're planing it down and making it fit. It's looking really sharp. I'll show you that later. Okay, help us to open for free. Join our 777 Club. Go to drdino.com. Say, I like what they're doing. We ask if you can give $1 a day. Make any checks to CSE, Creation Science Evangelism. Okay, let's see. Whack an Atheist Wednesday with Dr. Kent, the science gent, where I typically try to wear red just to, well, you know, push a few buttons. We've been looking high and low for one functioning brain cell in those who, man, my hair's all screwed up tonight. Look at that. Ah, gee, blonde hair. Looking for one brain cell that's functioning in those who believe there's no God and we came from a dot of nothing. Whack an Atheist is fun, it's fast, easy to learn, and it's addictive. Get to smack them. You really pop your head up and say some of the dumbest things. Yeah, everything fit in a dot smaller than a period on a page. Dumb. Get back down, okay? You're related to a mosquito. Right. Get back down. So many atheists in so little time. I'm trying, okay? I got so many. And we're doing it for your own good, by the way. We're doing it for your own good. Let's see, where's my hammer? Behind me. The big one. Oh, here, over here. One of the kids got me the Thor hammer. It's hollow. Don't worry about it. It's a joke, okay? So for you folks who believe you came from a rock, we're here to help. Try to knock some sense into you. Let's see. For your own good. Let's see. To all the atheists out there, that's a good way to put it. We use this simple Whack an Atheist just really to help you, okay? You're going to die one day. We want to wake you up before it's too late. Like, do you really, really believe that? There's a group that gives out a card called a Skeptic card. You can join the Skeptic Association. I want one of those cards. I'm a skeptic. I really am. Tell us your story. Become a card-carrying skeptic. Okay, Michael, I want one. Why people believe weird things, pseudoscience, superstition, and other confusions of our time by Michael Shermer. I debated him a long time ago. I don't know when this was. 2016, this was put up online, but our debate was, I don't know when it was, a long time ago. Anyway, Michael, be glad to take you on again anytime, okay? Why People Believe Weird Things by Michael Shermer. He publishes a magazine called the Skeptic Magazine, and he is rightfully skeptical of a lot of things. Skeptical of cloning, skeptical of, goblins and ghosts and, UFOs and flat earth. He's skeptical. He's rightfully. I want your card. I want that card, Michael. I'm going to tell you why I'm skeptical. Classroom by classroom, creationism is overthrowing biology. Yay. Well, now hold it. It's not overthrowing biology. See, biology is the study of life. There's nothing in the study of life, biology, that contradicts creation. What they really meant to not say there was creationism is overthrowing evolution, which is not part of biology. Evolution has nothing to do with science at all. It's mixed in science books. That doesn't make it part of science, okay? You know, beer is often sold at football games. Beer has nothing to do with football. Nothing. Zero. Zip. Nada, okay? And evolution is mixed in the science books thoroughly and has been for a long time, but it's not part of science, okay? In Why Darwin Matters, best-selling author Michael Shermer decodes the scientific evidence to show that evolution is not just a theory and illustrates how it achieves the design of life through the bottom-up process of natural selection. Michael, I'm a skeptic about that. I don't think you've proven one single thing about evolution. He said evolution theory is provisionally true. Why? It explains how design happened naturally from the bottom up. No, it does not. It gives a story. It tells a story. It doesn't explain anything. No scientific evidence for any of it. It is convergent. Independent lines of inquiry all jump to the same conclusion. Evolution happened. That is pure baloney. I'll show you in a minute. Michael, you said it out of your own mouth. I'll show you it in a minute here. It predicts new findings that have been confirmed empirically. Now, I have to say here, you're lying through your teeth, okay? It's nothing confirmed about any evolution, not anything above variations within the kind, okay? The evolution creation history has gone through 4 stages. Ban the teaching of evolution. They tried that for a long time. The Scopes monkey trial, 1925, okay? Well, now hold it. What they really should have worked on was don't ban teaching of evolution. I've never said evolution ought to be banned. I said lies ought to be banned. Watch my video number 4, lies in the textbooks, for a whole lot more on that. I'm not against teaching anything about science, but they're using lies to promote their stupid religion of evolution. If you have some evidence, show me. But don't tell the kids the embryo's got gill slits or the tailbone is vestigial. Michael, if you think the tailbone's vestigial, I will pay to have yours removed. I'll take it out myself. Look at this. Somebody bought me the Swiss Army knife. I taught anatomy, Michael. I know right where it's at. I can get it bent over. We'll have that thing out of there in a few minutes. If you think the tailbone's vestigial, you're crazy. It's not vestigial. Now, it's true you can live without it. You can live without both your legs, both your arms, both your eyes, and both your ears, too. Doesn't mean you don't need it. Okay? Move your tailbone. Well, I won't tell you what'll happen, but never mind. You'll find out quick enough. Okay. Number 2, equal time for Genesis and Darwin. Well, he's saying in his speech that they tried to get that in for 10 years. Equal time. And he's right. There were courts and states that tried to push for equal time. I think that was a mistake. I think teachers should teach science in science class. And they shouldn't get into origins at all. Evolution has nothing to do with science. Teach the kids the names of the muscles and the bones. Okay, kid, this is the deltoid. Why? Shaped like a triangle. Oh, right. The wider at the top comes together at the bottom, attaches to the humerus. This is the biceps, the triceps, the flexors, the extenders, carpals, metacarpals, tarsals. Teach them all the bones, all the muscles. What does origins have to do with that? Stop. Just stop right there. Teachers just don't teach anything about origin. Just teach biology. Then he said equal time for creation science and evolution science. Well, evolution is not a science. Evolution's a religion. Now he's saying they're pushing for the intelligent design theory. All right. He correctly talks about a phenomenon called confirmation bias. People look at things and judge by what they already believe in their head. If I told you, I'm going to bring somebody into the room in a couple minutes that is severely mentally retarded, and they come in and sit down and don't say a word, you would be thinking, oh, look at that poor guy. He's retarded. Right? If I said, I'm bringing somebody into this room tonight who's a multi-billionaire thinking about donating things to the ministry, you have a cognitive confirmation bias. You've already confirmed. Everything you see, oh, look at that, he's got a nice watch on. Oh, he's a billionaire. Everything you see would confirm your bias. And these evolutionists have a bias, and they are confirming it with everything they see. They see, wow, they already believe chickens and dinosaurs are related. So they will see, wow, they both have a skeleton. Oh, that proves it. Wow, they both have muscles. Oh, that proves it. Michael, you are right. And you have the confirmation bias, Michael, for your evolution theory. You've already decided it's true. Now, where do we find the evidence? You don't even see. You're doing the very same thing you accuse us of. Okay. A search for or interpret information in a way that confirms one's preconceptions. Confirmation bias is a phenomena wherein decision makers have been shown to actively seek out and assign more weight to evidence that confirms their hypothesis and ignore or underweigh evidence that could confirm their disconfirm their hypothesis. Very good, Michael. Let me play a few minutes of Michael here, about 4 minutes, and let's watch what happens here. Hang on.
Shermer is founding publisher of Skeptic magazine, a monthly columnist for Scientific American. He's a regular contributor to a ton of different publications, including Time.com. He is a presidential fellow at Chapman University. He's author of a new book called The Moral Arc: How Science and Reason Lead Humanity Toward Truth, Justice, and Freedom. He's also author of tons of other books, including one that sort of led me into this podcast. I borrowed the title and changed it just a little bit, Michael. But your book is called Why People Believe Weird Things. And I wanted to talk about that on the radio, and I thought this would be a great opportunity. Dr. Shermer, thanks for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. And, I didn't know that about the adoption of the book title. That's great.
Let's talk about Ben Carson, can we? I mean, we'll just start with him.
With a straight face.
Republican presidential candidate. He's a product of Johns Hopkins. He is a neurosurgeon. He's not a stupid man. And yet, he doesn't seem to embrace or understand basic evolutionary biology.
Whoa. You guys have a confirmation bias. You've already decided evolution is true. Now, why doesn't this guy believe it? You got a confirmation bias. Seth, Michael, you're doing exactly the same thing right here. And you can't possibly see it, I know, but this is what you're doing.
He made the claim about the Star of David being on the American $1 bill. He's mentioned that he believed that the pyramids were built so that the biblical Joseph could store grain.
I have no idea why the pyramids were built, and I don't think anybody knows for sure. There's all kinds of theories about that. You're not going to store much grain in there. So if he said that, that would be wrong. That's correct. Okay? But it has nothing to do with evolution. So what you're going to do is, because this guy doesn't believe in evolution, and he doesn't, therefore, because he's wrong on one or two other things, he must be wrong on that. This is called confirmation bias. Michael, you got it.
And we're all looking at this otherwise intelligent man, and we're wondering what the hell is going on. Michael, what the hell's going on?
Well, he's not just a product of Johns Hopkins University. He's also a product of the Seventh-day Adventists. And in this case, his religion is trumping his science because Seventh-day Adventists are creationists. They're largely young Earth creationists, or at the very least, old Earth creationists.
And Michael, that doesn't conflict with science. It conflicts with evolution, because you guys need billions of years to turn your frog to a prince. I know. If we said the frog turned to a prince quickly, we would all say that's a fairy tale. But you think, wow, the frog turned to the prince slowly. Oh, therefore, that's science. Still a fairy tale, Michael. You have a confirmation bias, okay? And you don't even realize it. Let's go on here.
But they take the creationist model in any case and don't accept most of the science related to that. Now,
Wait. Don't accept most of the science related to evolution, I think you're referring to. There's no science related to evolution. You have a confirmation bias, Michael. There is no scientific evidence that any animal has ever produced anything other than its kind. Cows produce cows without exception. They come from cows without exception. There is no evidence of anything other than that. And you can imagine going back in time, but you can't go back in time. And you can imagine all you want, but that's not science, and you guys can't see it. I'll show you why in a minute.
How can you get through medical school believing that? The answer is you don't have to really understand evolutionary biology to...
No, you shouldn't put those two words together. Evolution and biology do not go together, Michael. Evolution is a religious belief that snakes and potatoes have a common ancestor. There's no evidence of a potato ever producing anything other than a potato. So don't put evolution and science in the same context. There's nothing to do with science about evolution.
Get through med school. You can actually take all those classes, memorize all the parts and functions of the body, and get through chemistry and calculus and all that stuff without actually ever studying Darwin. I'm sure he...
Wow, maybe because Darwin has nothing to do with science, huh, Michael? You think so? And Darwin and evolution has nothing to do with science.
I'm sure he knows something about it. I'm sure he's read about it, but he just rejects it because of his religion. But it is...
No, Michael, there's your confirmation bias. Maybe he rejects it because he sees how dumb it is. So you've already decided that Ben doesn't believe in evolution because he doesn't understand it. You're confirming you're already biased. You don't see it. Maybe he really does understand how dumb it is and chose to not believe it. Huh? you got such a confirmation bias, Michael. You interpret information in a way that conforms to your preconception. You've already decided evolution's true. Now, why doesn't he see it? You got the worst confirmation bias I've ever seen, Michael. Go ahead.
It isn't necessary to do what he did. It's not to denigrate neurosurgery at all. It's a super technical field, but you don't really have to understand how natural selection works to operate on a brain.
Hold it. Natural selection certainly works, but it only selects. You guys have an imagination that it can create things. I mean, if a farmer selected all the white chickens to survive and killed the rest of them, after a few generations, you'd have nothing but white chickens. You didn't change it to nothing. You're still a chicken. Selection, artificial selection or natural selection, they both work. But all they do is select. Doesn't create anything. Am I okay here?
Yeah.
Lost focus?
Yeah,
Focus, Daniel-san. Focus. There, okay.
These are largely independent fields. So, I mean, in a way, it'd be like asking what does knowing about neurosurgery have to do with economic policy? Nothing. He's not qualified to understand the economy just because he's a neurosurgeon. And so you can be smart in one area and really dumb in other areas, and that's the case for most of us.
Glad you admitted it, Michael. Glad you admitted it. I'm going to show you tonight. Okay, I'm going to show you. I've been working on this off and on for a long time. All my spare time between all the different projects going on. Okay, here we go.
It's just that most of us aren't shooting our mouths off on national television running for president. And most of us, don't venture into fields we know nothing about and make public.
Yes, you do, Michael. You know nothing about the creation and how it happened and how God did it, and you know very little about God's word. You certainly don't understand any of it. I'll show you when we get done here.
Statements like that. And so that's the short answer. Psychologically speaking, as I say in Why People Believe Weird Things, is that smart people believe weird things because they're better at rationalizing beliefs they arrived at for non-smart reasons.
There you go. Bingo. That's evolution. A lot of smart people believe in evolution. No question. Because they're good at rationalizing. They have a confirmation bias. They've already been told it's true. Now, they look for the evidence. Everything supports it.
That they hold for non-smart reasons. That is, people hold beliefs for emotional reasons, psychological reasons, religious reasons, and political, ideological reasons.
And that's why they believe in evolution. Yeah, get rid of God, no rules. Yeah, they like that. That's why, Michael.
And then they back into it with evidence after the fact that they, filter to fit, what they already believe, confirmation bias. And smart people, educated people, are better at that. And so they convince themselves, as well as some of their other followers, that they're really onto something because they're so smart. But in fact, it's really just the opposite.
Let's talk about confirmation bias for those who may not know what it is. Can you sort of flesh it out for us?
Yep. So the confirmation bias is where you look for and find confirming evidence for what you already believe, and you ignore the disconfirming evidence. That is, you remember the hits, you forget the misses. You just filter out information that doesn't confirm what you want to be true, and you allow in the information that fits. Everybody does it. We do it in all walks of life.
Do evolutionists do it too, Michael? Huh? You atheists, do you do this too? Everybody does it. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a huge body of literature in cognitive psychology about this this bias. It's kind of the mother of all cognitive biases. There's a host of these biases, dozens. But that's the biggest one. So, for example, just to run through a few of the experiments, like if you tell a subject that this person they're about to meet is introverted, shy, not particularly forthcoming or gregarious, and then you meet this person and fill out a little questionnaire about their personality, that's how they will be described. On the other hand, if you tell somebody else that this person is gregarious and extroverted, outgoing, and then they meet the exact same person who says the same things, they will rate them as outgoing extroverts. In other words, they'll find the things that seem to fit the diagnosis or the label. This is true in the mental health profession. We know from Robert Rosenhan's famous experiment in the late 60s. He and his fellow, he was a professor, his graduate students checked themselves into a bunch of different mental hospitals. And, just all they were doing was complaining of hearing voices. And nothing very specific. And the moment they were checked in and diagnosed, they said, well, I don't hear the voices anymore. And then they acted completely normal from there on. The diagnoses were made by the psychiatrists working at these hospitals, and the patient descriptions were made by the employees at the hospital. The patients themselves weren't patients at all. They just then proceeded to act completely normally. And as Roseanne describes it, the other patients knew right away, oh, come on, you guys are journalists or something. You're here investigating the hospital, right? Because they could tell they were acting normal. But the psychiatrists didn't get it. They filtered everything that the pseudo patients did as further evidence of their schizophrenic tendencies, and the erupting libidinal urges coming out in the painting, this kind of nonsense. And then after the experiment was over, they had to get out on their own, which took many, many weeks. In some cases, it's a little scary, actually. It's hard to get out once you're in. He then told these hospitals about it, and they said, oh, well, we wouldn't be faked. There's no way. Try it again. Send some pseudo patients and real patients to them, and we'll be able to tell the difference. And so then, patients started coming in as usual, and they, reported back that they figured out who it was, and when in fact he didn't send anybody in. So it's.
Now, what's that about? Is that the staff was predisposed to automatically assume or believe that these people had some sort of psychological trouble. So they were just going to see it because they just expected it?
Correct. Yeah. The power of expectation, the power of labels and language to determine thought. It's a little bit of an indictment of the mental health profession, to the extent that.
And it's a great big indictment of the evolution profession, Michael. You have already confirmed, you have a bias already that the earth is billions of years old. And when you look at a rock, you've already decided it's got to be 42 million years old because it came from this layer right here, okay? You have a confirmation bias and you don't even see it.
These psychiatric diagnoses are very subjective. It's a list of symptoms, behaviors. Patient exhibits X, Y, and Z most of the time, but not all of the time. And maybe there's 20 different symptoms of schizophrenia. How many do you have to have before you get the label? Is it 10? Is it 12? Is it 15? Is it 7? There's very little consistency across experts on what constitutes that particular set of characteristics that makes up a diagnosis. And it's a real problem. It's why the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, the DSM, keeps evolving. Homosexuality was a disease in the 1950s, and it's finally taken out in the 70s. And there's a lot of those kinds of things that are very disturbing. But in this context, I'm just talking about the power of labels and the confirmation bias. That once you have a theory about something, you then just find the evidence to fit it. Conspiracy theory.
There you go. That's what you've done. You've got a theory about evolution. You got a theory, well, we know the earth is billions of years old, and we know we're all related and it all came from a rock. You've already decided all that. And now you're looking for evidence to support it. I'll get more to Michael later if we have time here, but this is what's called the confirmation bias, okay? And you have it. Example. Millions of years ago, huge dinosaurs walked the earth. They were the biggest animals that ever lived. This is a book for like first graders, okay? Michael and other evolutionists don't seem to realize you have a confirmation bias. You've already decided the earth is millions of years old. See, the millions of years ago is not science. Dinosaurs walked the earth is science. No question dinosaurs walked the earth. We find their footprints, find their bones, no question. But it is not, they shouldn't put those two in the same sentence. Millions of years ago and dinosaurs don't belong in the same sentence. Dinosaurs walked the earth. Some people who have a confirmation bias believe it was millions of years ago. Other people with a brain in their head and willing to think for themselves and don't have a confirmation bias think, wow, the earth can't be millions of years old for all kinds of scientific reasons. They must have lived with man. Yeah, you got a confirmation bias. I can read about dinosaurs millions of years ago. This is brainwashing children. I'm a skeptic about this millions of years stuff, Michael. I want a card. Send me a skeptic card, 488 Pearl Lane, Repton, Alabama. Lennox doesn't have a post office box, so Repton, Alabama, 36475. I want a skeptic card. The Bible says they will bring forth after their kind 10 times in the first chapter. 10 times. In one chapter, they bring forth after their kind. God created great whales. They bring forth after their kind, after his kind, after his kind. Michael, this chart is not science. This is someone's wild imagination. And drawing lines on paper is not science, okay? I'm skeptical that humans and aardvarks have a common ancestor, Michael. I'm skeptical of that. I would like a card. I'm skeptical that spiders and humans have a common ancestor with the aardvarks. I'm skeptical of that, Michael. Where's my card, okay? I'm skeptical that the origin of life came from non-living matter. I don't think that's science at all. I'm skeptical of this whole chart, so where's my card? They say evolution is change over time. Wait. In other words, living things change over time. Wait, what happened to the origin of life? See, evolution has 6 different meanings, and you guys hate it when I say this, but this is the truth and you know it. You'd have to have cosmic evolution, the origin of time, space, matter. Then you'd have to have chemical evolution. The stars would have to evolve. Then you'd have to have life get started. And then you have to have one life form change to something else. None of these have ever been observed. I'm skeptical of all 5 of those, okay? Now, microevolution, I don't think it should be called that, but if you want to call it that, it's a variation. It's still the same kind. Now, that one, I would agree. That can be observed. But I'm skeptical of the first one. I think first 5, I think they are religious. I'm skeptical that microevolution, which is really just variations of the same kind, as every farmer in history will tell you, happens, but it has limits. I'm skeptical that will ever lead to macroevolution. It's not going to do it. Where's my card, Michael? Send it. 488 Pearl Lane. Repton. I would like you to sign it for me. Michael, would you sign it for me, please? I'll carry it in my wallet. Card carrying skeptic, Kent Hovind. You can tell people, Kent Hovind has joined the Skeptic Association, or whatever you call your club, okay? Let's see. Often microevolution can lead to macroevolution as changes become more pronounced. This guy's either lying or stupid, but I'm skeptical of that. I think he's imagining this, okay? What is the evidence for macroevolution? The evidence for macroevolution is based on indirect evidence, such as interpretation of the fossil record. Michael, I don't think there's a fossil record at all. I think there's a lot of fossils. That's evidence of a flood. Fossils aren't forming today. How many animals died today, would you guess, in the world? Billions? How many are going to fossilize, Michael? Probably none. But they find fossil beds with millions of animals buried in them. Like, wow, they were overrun by a flood. Yeah, check the Karoo Formation, Michael. So I'm skeptical. I don't think there's a fossil record like you have a confirmation bias. You've already decided this is from millions of years ago. Homology of similar structures is evidence for evolution. The fact that they're similar structures might be evidence of a common designer. I'm skeptical that's evidence for evolution, Michael. How about embryology? I can't believe you guys are dumb enough to still be teaching that one. Been proven wrong since 1875. Embryology has got nothing to do with evolution. Vestigial organs, guys, that would be losing something. The AC doesn't work on my van very well anymore. A lot of things are breaking on the old van, 185,000 miles. Nothing's getting better by itself. Nothing. They say, well, vans don't reproduce. Well, that makes it even more complicated if they're able to reproduce. Let's see. DNA similarities. Michael, I'm skeptical of all the fake evidence presented for macroevolution. All of it. I'm skeptical. Where's my card? Send it, please. 488 Pearl Lane. I'd like a skeptic card. I'll carry it. I really will, okay? We've seen lots of different kinds of corn produced. I grew up in Illinois, corn country. Cornfields all over East Peoria, Morton, Illinois. I went to Boy Scouts at Troop 178, Methodist Church, Morton, Illinois. I've seen lots of corn. I'm skeptical that it would ever turn to anything other than corn. I'm skeptical that all the hundreds of variations of corn offers any evidence that corn and whales have a common ancestor or will ever lead to macroevolution. I'm skeptical, Michael. I don't believe it. Send me a card, please. I'm real skeptical that the whale, the tomato, and the hamster are related to corn, Michael. I'm real skeptical of that, okay? So where's my card, okay? I'm real skeptical all the matter in the universe would fit in a dot smaller than a period on a page. You guys ever stop and think of what you are saying? I mean, you mock people like, Ben Carson for saying something that the Egyptians built the pyramids to hold grain. But you guys turn around and believe everything fit in a dot? You think all the pyramids fit in that dot, Michael? And the whole country of Egypt? The whole thing was in there, wasn't it? The whole world. Not just Egypt. I mean, Egypt is just a little tiny part, Michael. It's right over here. The whole world's much bigger than that. You think the whole thing fit in a dot? Why aren't you skeptical of that? You guys aren't part of a skeptic society. You're part of a moron society. You believe that. I want a card. I'm skeptical. I'm real skeptical that dinosaurs turned to chickens, Michael. I'm real skeptical of that. I think that's one of the dumbest ideas. Somebody's got to be laughing. I bet some rich guys got together and said, I bet I get everybody believing T-Rex turned to a chicken. They said, oh, you cannot. He said, yeah, I'll bet you $1 million. I can get everybody believing that. I don't know how they did it, but they pulled a few strings and got folks to swallow that. I can't believe anyone with an IQ above plant life would believe a T-Rex turned into a chicken. I'm skeptical, Michael. Where's my card? I would like my card, please. Okay. Bible says they're going to bring forth after their kind. Michael, I'm skeptical that anyone has any scientific evidence that that verse is not true. Does anybody have any observation of any animal producing offspring that are not the same kind? Now, before you run off on your rabbit trail and say, what's a kind? A 4-year-old will tell you that a black dog and a white dog are the same kind. They'll probably tell you that a fox and a wolf and a coyote are the same kind as a dog. I bet a 4-year-old can tell you that a dog and a fish are not the same kind. So in most cases, it's pretty obvious. Can your 1.5-year-old talk yet?
Yeah, 2 words.
2 words, okay. I bet by the time he's 3, he'll be able to figure out what are different kinds, won't he? Yeah, okay. Standard breeds of chickens. There's all kinds. Debbie, how many kinds has she's gone? I think they've something like 500 varieties of chickens. And this book says, jungle fowl are the original bird from which all varieties and strains of domesticated chickens are derived. I agree with that. I'm skeptical it ever goes beyond chicken, though. I'm real skeptical of that. I don't think it does. I think you have to believe that, and you can if you like. But God said they bring forth after their kind. I think there are 8 varieties of owls on this picture here, 225 owl species in the world. Michael, I'm skeptical that anyone has any scientific evidence that owls have ever produced anything other than baby owls, or ever come from anything other than an owl. Where's my card, Michael? I'm skeptical. Let's see. 8 varieties of bears. I bet they had a common ancestor. I'm skeptical that anyone has any scientific evidence of anything other than a bear coming from bears. Where's my card? Send it. See, we get all kinds of bears in the world. They get them all the way from like 60 pounds, the little bitty sun bear, all the way up to 1,500 pounds for the polar bear. Quite a range. I'm skeptical that ever get anything other than a bear, though. You guys say vertebrate embryos look alike in early development. I can't believe you're still teaching this. Michael, you listed it as part of your evidence for evolution. This has been proven wrong since 1874 or 75. I'm skeptical that the human embryo ever has gill slits, and that this crazy lie proven wrong a long time ago offers any evidence for evolution. I'm skeptical of that, Michael. Where's my card? Send it. 488 Pearl Lane. You guys are teaching because of homology. This fires me up. Am I going fast tonight?
You're doing great.
Okay. Thank you. Calm down. Okay. You guys are teaching that evolution has evidence because of homology. You got 2 bones in your forearm, and so does the dog and the bird and the whale. Therefore, we're related. Michael, I'm skeptical that the homology argument offers any evidence for evolution. It's much more likely to show they have a common designer. Did you know my Chevy van has 4 tires? And, you're not going to believe this, the Kawasaki Mule has 4 tires. That proves something to somebody somewhere, doesn't it? I bet I could get a PhD on that one, put a term paper in, proving they're related. Okay. Not a term paper, dissertation. Okay. Unless you've been infected with confirmation bias, Michael, like you are. Okay. I'd like your card, please. Signed. Kent Hovind. To Kent Hovind. Evidence for evolution from vestigial structures. Michael, that's losing things. If they're losing them at all, just because you don't know what the wings on an ostrich are for doesn't mean I think the ostrich likes them. Maybe Mrs. Ostrich likes them a lot. Oh, honey, you got beautiful wings. Spread them out for me here, you know. You use them when they run. They don't fly with them. Doesn't mean they ever did fly. Maybe they're designed just exactly like that because they can use them when they're running for turning, for balance. I don't know. Maybe we don't know the use of it yet. I'm skeptical that vestigial argument structures offer any evidence for evolution, Michael. It's much more likely to show a degrading gene pool or our ignorance of what they're for. Maybe we don't know unless you've been infected with a confirmation bias. Anyway, where's my card, Michael? 488 Pearl. And you guys believe in the Big Bang. This one stuns me. Otherwise intelligent people. Now, Ben Carson is a very intelligent man, and I think he'd believe something dumb about the pyramids. Okay? Michael, I think you're a very intelligent man in some areas, but you believe something really, really dumb, believing the Big Bang. All the matter fit in a dot. This violates all kinds of laws of common sense science, Michael. First law of thermodynamics. Energy and matter cannot be created or destroyed. Okay, where did the matter come from? Out of nothing? Where did the energy come? You mean all the energy in the universe was in that dot also? What's the total temperature of all the stars in the world? In the universe, I mean. All the stars. What's the total temperature of our sun? You got all that energy is in that dot. Not only is the dot really tiny, it's really hot. Like really, really, really hot, Michael. You believe that? Come on. See, first law of thermodynamics, matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed. You guys violate that. I'm skeptical that that has anything to do with science, and Big Bang should not be included in any science textbook. It ought to be in a fairy tale book, Michael, okay? First law of thermodynamics states that energy can neither be created or destroyed. It can be converted from one form to another, and there's formulas about all that. I taught physics for years. I agree, it works. But you guys think it came from a dot of nothing, near nothing. No, nothing. Universe came into existence 14 billion years ago from a Big Bang. I'm skeptical of that. Now, this guy's got it more precise, 13.772 billion years ago. Well, and 5 years now, because it was published 4 years ago. Okay, I'm sorry. In 2012, they estimated the age of the universe to be 13.772 billion years old. I'm skeptical of that, Michael. Most thinking people today know it is dumb to worship time, space, energy, and matter as gods that created a universe. 13.8 billion years ago, universe began to form from a singularity. Okay. What happened before the Big Bang? Well, then you're assuming that time is also eternal. Is time a line that goes, today, tomorrow, next day, today, yesterday, day before? You go back to 13.8 billion years, then what? If time is indeed eternal, we could never get to where we are today. Think about it, Michael. I'm skeptical of the whole dumb Big Bang theory. Universe began, scientists believe. There's the magic word, folks. Cognitive bias. If a scientist says it, got to be true. Yeah, right. With every speck of its energy jammed into a very tiny point, this extremely dense point between the ears of the atheists, this extremely dense point exploded with unimaginable force, creating matter and propelling it outward to make the billions of galaxies in our vast universe. Michael, I'm skeptical that all the matter and energy in the universe would fit in a tiny dot. I'm skeptical any scientist in the world could squeeze a gallon of milk into a dot. Mike, I'll challenge you. I'll pay you $1,000 if you'll get some scientists to squeeze a gallon of milk into a dot smaller than a period on a page. Come on. Where's my card? I would like my card. I'm a skeptic. Card-carrying skeptic. Is that right to be skeptical of those things, Michael? Is that okay? Or am I required to believe that? Bible says in 6 days the Lord made heaven, earth, sea, and all that in them is. Michael, I'm skeptical that you can't really see how this is the only way the world could come into existence. Everything made in 6 days. Did you know there are billions and billions of symbiotic relationships? Flowers require insects to pollinate them. Insects require the flowers for food, which evolved first. Let's see. Animals consume oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Plants consume carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Symbiotic relationship. Which one came first, Michael? I'm skeptical that it'll work any other way than besides 6 days, okay? Respiration, CO2, photosynthesis, you can study all that and say, wow, there's quite a network here going on. I bet it was all created within a couple days of each other. Bible says in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Michael, I'm skeptical that you can't really see how this is the only way the world could have come into existence. It's the only way it works. Somebody outside of time, space, matter had to make it. Now, if that bothers you, I'm sorry. But I'm skeptical that you don't really see that, Michael. You're not a skeptic. You're a religious zealot who believes in evolution. I'm skeptical, Michael, that you're really skeptical at all about the existence of God or the fact that he created and will be your judge one day. I think down deep, you really know, don't you, Michael? You really know there's a God, and you really know he's going to judge you one day. Don't you, Michael? Bible says the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them. God hath showed it unto them. God has showed you, Michael. You have those moments when you're looking at a flagellated bacterium, say, wow, look at that little motor. Turns 8 million RPM. And stops in a quarter turn and goes the other way. You almost think it had a designer, wouldn't you? We're talking about the horsepower of that tank, or the jet engine on the Abrams tank. It'll cost $1 million. That thing turns pretty fast. I bet they can't even catch up with the motor that drives the flagella on a paramecium. Google it, Michael. I think you really know. The invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. You've already seen clearly from the creation that there's a God. They're being understood by things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so they are without excuse. Michael, you and your skeptics, and Seth, you too, are without excuse. I'm here to warn you. Where's my SpongeBob? I'm trying to wake you guys up. Wake up. Wake up. There's a God and you know it. That was, they knew, when they knew God, they glorified him not as God. Neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Michael, you know. You really know, don't you? I'm skeptical that you are really skeptical at all about the existence of God. You know he's going to be your judge one day, Michael. Down deep, you know. Where's my card, Michael? I'm a skeptic. Any questions or comments?
A couple of them right on the screen.
Okay, let's see here. Can you explain how viruses and bacteria change and become resistant to weaknesses? Bill Sardi, knowledgeofhealth.com, one of our trustees, can give you a lot of information on bacteria and virus, all that kind of stuff. If you want to go down deep, stay down long. He's written a lot of articles about it. But if the human body has an illness because of a lack of a certain deficiency in something, okay? If you're deficient in certain vitamin or mineral, something's going to happen. Something will go wrong. So it's not God's fault. He designed all the plants and animals, symbiotic relationships. If you eat the right stuff, you have maintained good health and don't get sicknesses. Most of our diseases are dietary problems. For years, they were looking for cures for diseases and found out it's a simple vitamin. How many things have been cured just by a vitamin? Same with this dumb stuff they're doing now with the COVID. You can take certain vitamins and it doesn't affect you. I don't want to put a diaper on my face when I go in the store. If you want to, go ahead. Anyway, so let's see. They become, if a bacteria becomes resistant to something, you'll find it's an artificial selection. They give it an antibiotic and it kills off 95% of the bacteria. Okay, 5% survive. That 5% is still a bacteria. Nothing changed, and it is less likely to survive in the world later. It's a weaker. Something's wrong with it. It's like if you put handcuffs on people and drag them off and kill them, and you find somebody doesn't have any arms. Can't handcuff them. Oh, that's not a beneficial mutation. There are no beneficial mutations in bacteria or virus at all. None. Zero. Watch my video number 4. I give a lot of information on that. Okay. Let's see. Justin, thanks for the gift. Blessing the ministry that has richly blessed me and my family. Thank you guys for all you do. Can't wait to come visit. Come visit Dinosaur Adventureland. Love to have you here, Justin. And thank you for the gift. Okay. Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Any from here?
I have one. The evolutionists believe that the Big Bang, everything was in the size of a dot, right?
Right.
Don't they also believe that happens over and over?
Well, that's the inflation theory, that the Big Bang expanded everything and someday it's going to shrink back to a big dot and then explode again. Expansion, a cycle. Some believe that because they're stuck with the problem. Well, what about time? 13.772 billion years ago, there was a Big Bang. Well, what about 13.773 billion years ago? Where's that fit on the chart? What was there? Was this dot of near nothing sitting around forever waiting to explode? Or did it come from nothing? They have to ultimately believe it came from nothing. I'm skeptical of that. I think you ought to be skeptical too. Gee whiz, use your brain. Okay, any other questions?
Somebody said that evolutionists have a vestigial brain.
A vestigial brain. They're slowly losing it. Now, they do have pretty good control of the school system. I'll give them credit. They took over. And all you can do is vaccinate your kids against them. I tell kids, go to school, know the truth. When the test says, how old is the earth? You can write down, the textbook says 4.6 billion years ago. However, this is stupid. They can't count that question wrong. You answered the question right. You learned. Daniel went to school in Babylon, learned all the pagan religion, and wrote the book of Daniel. Moses went to school in Egypt. Remember, he was a baby when he was taken out of the Nile and raised by Pharaoh's daughter. He learned all that stupid Egyptian stuff and wrote 5 books. Well, edited Genesis and wrote 4 more books in our Bible. You can go to pagan school and come out right. I did. All through high school, for 1 year of college at Illinois Central College, then transferred to Bible college. You can go to pagan school and just let it roll off. Just memorize it for the answer and then say, I don't believe this at all. Okay, thank you so much. Love these Whacking Atheist Wednesdays. I get fired up. Tomorrow night, back to Matthew, and then comments on comments. We have got some doozies for Friday night. some of you guys really ought to stop sending in your comments because you're making my day. Okay. If you're trying to make me angry or quit, oh no, this is adding fuel to the fire. Thank you so much. Michael, send my card, 488 Pearl Lane, Repton, Alabama, 3645. What's our zip code here? I don't know. It's on all of our stuff. Go to drdino.com. 36 something or other. 475. Okay. Or call 855 Big Dino. Better yet, Michael, come visit. I'll give you the tour. Bring me the card. Sign it. I will give you my videos and sign them for you. Okay. I want to be a card carrying skeptic. I really do. Come on down. All right. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Bye. Yay.